Hey, it's Matt Roush,
And Mike Brennan.
and
And
you're watching the M Squared TechCast here at MITechNews.TV, on podcastdetroit.com, and a whole bunch of other places where you can find a good podcast.
there you go. And so we have calling in from Sheboygan, Wisconsin, to Jeff Lesimer, who's the CEO of VibeTech, which is actually a NASA spinout, right, Jeff?
Definitely. Well, thank you for having me on. So VibeTech is a company that makes therapeutic vibration products. We use robotic rehabilitation to help strengthen muscles, improve balance, help reduce pain, and put people at a lower risk of falling. But where we got started was back in my days of being at Michigan Tech.
I've heard of that school, yes.
That's right. And appreciate the name of the news show too. So kind of goes right along with my alma mater. But so when I was at Michigan Tech studying biomedical engineering, I had an advisor that worked with astronauts coming back from space. As an exercise physiologist, he could tell me all of the problems that they had as a result of a lack of gravity acting on their bodies. And I'd already worked with him on another project and working on cardiovascular deconditioning, but I said, well, let me solve the bone loss problem, since next to exposure to radiation, bone loss is the biggest issue for astronauts to stay in space. So I came up with a solution that copied a lot of our interactions with our environments here on Earth. And I used a lot of information from NASA, got some funding from the Michigan Space Grant Consortium, which is a NASA-funded entity, and was able to push forward with a prototype that copied our mechanical interactions with the environment. And the idea was that if I could copy those signals acting on our bodies, those forces, we'll be able to have stronger bones, maybe in a year or however long it takes our bones to adapt. But one of the signals that I copied was the impact vibration associated with every step that we take. So every time we walk, there's vibration associated with that. That frequency that we feel coincides with the same signal that our brain sends to the muscles for our strength and postural muscles. So I said, well, this has to be an important signal. What happens when you put that back in the body? So testing it out for 10 minutes, I figured, okay, well, we'll see. Maybe after a year, I'll have stronger bones. I had no idea that in those 10 minutes that I'd worked my muscles out to the point that I couldn't even stand up. And I said, at that moment, doing nothing at all but sitting there and letting mechanical vibrations come into my body and kind of directing those in the right way with the right vibration signals, that you could actually get a workout. So at that moment, I said, I need to start a company to make this technology available to everybody here on Earth who's less active now than they used to be. So it could be from aging, it could be disabilities, injuries, surgeries, illness, you name it. It could be laziness. I want to be able to help people out that are in a state of decline.
So it has nothing to do with the fact. Oh, go ahead,
Sounds
Matt.
like a good way. Sounds like a good way for me to get over the after effects of a couple of knee replacements too.
Yes,
honestly, that's a great use for it. And we have worked with. We've done over 20,000 treatments on our equipment, mostly in the skilled nursing setting, in therapy gyms, with no serious adverse events. But they've put anybody and everybody on, whether it's strength issues, even neurology. Or neuropathy, having some folks that don't have as much sensation. We've been able to actually help people feel their feet and legs again. And lo and behold, if you can't feel your feet, you're much more prone to falling. And that has really been kind of our primary focus here, is on falls in older adults and trying to help them reduce the number of falls they have and do everything we can to even prevent those from happening in the first place. So we can use our equipment as a treatment on some of the worst off folks, or as a preventative measure for wellness, to be able to hopefully not get to those points in our lives where we're more at risk.
So there's no truth to the rumor you developed this for your very old father then, right? So
That's right. That's right. Well, he uses this pretty regularly now. So he's got a few of my prototypes at his house.
Well, it's good. He has to keep active. I know he's been pretty lazy up there in Boyne City. So
Oh, that's right. Well, what else can you do with all that snow, right?
that's it. What are you going to do? He can't ski,
You
right?
can build snowmen, I guess.
So,
But yeah.
so,
Yes. Well, let's
so,
bring in
so
the.
Jeff, what is the what
Go
what
ahead.
is the
Sorry.
what is the form factor? What's the form factor of this
Okay, so
technology?
that's an
Is it a
important thing.
device? Is it a booth? Is it,
Yep. So, originally started off as a boot, but with a power supply, just a battery, Milwaukee Tool battery. A washing machine motor was what I started off my prototype with. Had some fishing scales, so it was a pretty crude prototype, but it worked. Over the years, I first, since I knew I had an effective signal, I wanted to hone it in and make it safe. And I brought on some clinical advisors to really help from a vibration safety standpoint. I actually got involved with the International Standards Organization technical committee that writes the standards for vibration exposure. I'm now a member of that and working towards writing the standards for therapeutic vibration, which don't exist yet. So then I was able to create an effective signal, a safe signal, then trying to make it as accessible as possible. So what does that mean? It means that you're not going to struggle to have to get into this machine. At first, we started off with a bed rest design, something that could go on a hospital bed. And we ran a clinical study at a nursing home in Texas with that prototype. But we quickly realized that we could actually have something sitting in a therapy gym. So it's a chair that you can sit on and swivel right around to put your feet onto this robotic foot plate that pushes back and forth while vibrating and generating resistance. We keep tabs on how much force is being applied and also on the person's strength. But now we are working with metal components of Grand Rapids to produce a portable unit that we discovered that not everyone has an easy time getting into and out of a chair. Any transfers can be difficult for people with low mobility. So we wanted to create a system that you could just wheel your wheelchair right up to it and kick your legs on it and do your leg presses or just hold your legs still right there while you're getting this workout. Or that you could actually cart this from room to room to room, disinfecting it between each use. So in times of COVID, it actually makes great sense when people aren't going down to the therapy gym or leaving the room, so we can still keep them active and keep those muscles engaged. So we've reduced the form factor, the size of it to a portable unit. Ultimately, we would love to see these things in everyone's home. Right now with the robotics that go in, it's much more practical for this to be a device for hospitals, nursing homes, assisted living, independent living, outpatient therapy clinics, community gyms, and other community-based programs. But we are working with a home health agency here in Sheboygan, Wisconsin, where we're headquartered right now. And they are kind of helping us to kind of shape things for when we get into that home care market. What will things look like then? So we're always trying to out-innovate ourselves. We design equipment to be as intuitive to use as possible. We don't want you having to think about your workout. We want to remove and strip every barrier possible to be able to engage you in physical activity. If you use our equipment to activate those muscles with vibrations, we're actually contracting the muscles every time a vibration oscillation comes into the body. We're contracting those muscles. People are 20% stronger on average after using the equipment for just 10 minutes. They're able to go 32% deeper into a squat, and people with moderate to severe pain have a 66% reduction in pain from a single 10-minute session. So you're effectively a super version of yourself for a couple of hours after the treatment. And then over time, we've actually had a couple of people get out of wheelchairs and start walking again. That's not a guaranteed outcome, but if you can contribute more to helping somebody by getting up and out, you're going to be much better off. So any staff members that are helping you, it's actually easier for them as well. But we're making this as engaging and intuitive as we possibly can. Now we're even working on gamification. We have student teams working on mobile rehab apps as well as virtual reality games that allow for you to use our device as a controller where you can push and interact with the machine and get really neat responses that encourage better therapeutic outcomes. So we constantly strive to out-innovate ourselves.
Huh. Okay. And so the getting back to the Grand Rapids company, these I've seen pictures of on your website. I'm not sure if that is the portable version or the beta version, but the portable version, I assume, would have wheels on it or be able to move around very easily, kind of thing, right?
Yep. So it's got wheels on the back, handlebars that flip up so you can grab a hold of it while you're using the equipment, mounting an iPad onto the portable unit. So the screen's right in front of you, but you can flip those handlebars back and actually use it like a dolly and cart it around. So pretty convenient.
All right. Well, Matt would really like that because he's got 2 new knees, and he'd be like Steve Austin after that. He'd be running 60 miles an hour, right? So, anyway, we got about 2 minutes left. So this is where you get to talk about how folks can get in touch with you, your website address, email, whatever you want to throw out there to the world.
Absolutely. So our website is www.vibetechglobal.com. That's VIBETECHGLOBAL.com. We are also doing an online public offering. So we're following the Security and Exchange Commission's crowdfunding regulations. So we are now a public company raising funds. Our website, our platform to do that is open through April 11th. And so if you want to own a piece of VibeTech, now is your chance. You've got a little narrow window. And the portal to go to is wefunder.com/VibeTech. So that's WEFUNDER.com/VIBETECH.
And last I looked, you raised close to $400,000, right?
Yep, that's just from our current crowdfunding campaign. So that doesn't include a few million from before that, but that is what we are using to complete product development for our portable product. Anything else will really help us grow our sales team, which we've got 10 people across the country right now, and trying to grow that sales force. Also having our clinical services team being able to make sure that everybody gets their feet on the machine, uses it well, and gets the most out of the equipment that they possibly can.
Traditional four-year students love Lawrence Technological University's thriving campus life, but LTU has always met non-traditional students' needs too. Lawrence Tech offers over 100 degree and certificate programs that can get adult students started or back on track. And most of our classes are conveniently offered evenings at our beautiful Southfield campus or online, so you can balance your social, family, and work life even while you power up your career. Lawrence Tech, where Blue Devils dare.